I can guarantee you that this car is going to sell like absolute crazy. I think Dodge made a mistake dropping the EV of the Charger first, because it sort of ruined it's a cool looking car, the design is there, but dropping the EV first just sort of laid a blanket of disappointment over this entire project. But now we have the six pack going on sale pretty soon, and honestly, when I read the specs here, I feel like this is a very, very good deal. I mean, the performance is there, and for the price point, definitely looking forward to driving this, because it's gonna be a pretty fun car to drive, because you have the technology inside of this vehicle to make it fun to drive. You can disconnect all-wheel drive, for example, send the power to the rear wheels only, and so on. We can have a look at this design in Photoshop. There are a couple of changes in front end to the EV model, and the price point, again, when you look at the price point and compare that to the Charger Daytona, the EV, I mean, it sounds like a even better deal when you compare those prices. Before we jump into Photoshop, though, have a look here at the front, side, and rear, and also this this is a cozy looking interior. I love what's going on here. Let's have a look at this article from Car Scoops. We gotta check out the spec and tech, because it's a pretty big deal. So Dodge finally gives buyers the gas Charger they almost wanted, from $50,000 for the RT. The new gas-powered 2026 Charger Coupe brings back real muscle feel, twin turbo power, and drama missing, of course, from the EV. Doesn't matter if it's still just a inline six. It's not the V8 yet. I'm pretty sure they're gonna drop a Hemi of this eventually, but it doesn't matter if it's still an inline six. It's going to have so much more character, so much more personality. I mean, everybody knows this than the EV, obviously. So the RT starts at $50,000. But I would 100% just go up $5,000 and get the Scat Pack, and both get the Hurricane Twin Turbo Inline 6. The Scat Pack makes 550 horsepower, 531 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. So this is 17 months after pulling the covers off the electric Charger Daytona no one asked for, which no one seems to be buying either. Dodge has given us the coupe we really do want. Almost. Again, you don't have the V8, there's no manual transmission, even though we're going to get a Hemi in the future probably. I really doubt that they're going to slap in a manual in there, even though it would be extremely cool to see. And I'm sure if they did that, that would also sell like crazy. I think people are longing for, you know, these muscle cars to come back. We had the Camaro in the 2010, the best looking Camaro. 2012, you had the Mustang there as well, looking great at that time. And of course, the Charger was the Challengers, and the Chargers of that time, it was basically the only muscle cars on sale at the moment. But at least we have three choices back in the 2010s. Now it feels like we have one coming back, and that is this six-pack right here. Even though, again, it's not a V8. So the six-packs come in two flavors, one of those being available with either 2 or 4 doors. The 4 doors coming a little later this year, dealerships in 2026, as with the now discontinued entry-level EV. So they discontinued the RT EV because it was selling so horribly. They did not make any sort of money on that. The base combustion car gets RT badge here as well. Only here it comes with 420 horsepower for the base model. So add $5,000 and you get 130 extra horsepower. I mean, to me, it's just a no-brainer, to be honest. So if from a 3-liter twin turbo Hurricane inline 6, $50,000, that's $9,600 less than the electric Charger Daytona costs in 2025. But that's not the big numbers here when it comes to price reduction. You also get 468 pound-feet of torque in the base model. But we think 4.8 seconds 0 to 60 for the base model sounds about right. That's based on the Scat Pack doing 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds with a 550 horsepower and 531 pound-feet of torque. Now here you have all the specs. RT $50,000, Scat Pack $55,000. You have the weight a lot, I think it's 1,000 pounds lighter than the EV, 550 horsepower right there, 8-speed automatic, 12.2 seconds, the quarter mile, not bad. Top speed, 177 or 285 kilometers per hour. I mean, the numbers make sense to me, to be honest. So a Daytona Scat Pack can shave 0.6 seconds from the ICE car's time, the EV version, but it costs $18,990 more than the $54,995 six-pack. So if you can see why that was such a hard sell. I mean, if you're a muscle car enthusiast, first of all, everybody that wanted to buy this based on the looks, everybody has been waiting for this to come out. And then they see the price point that is almost 20 grand less than the EV Scat Pack. If I'm reading this right, I mean, it's such a huge discount for this. So obviously, when this comes out now, it's going to sell very, very well. I really hope it does, because it deserves to, because of the design. And then you have the digital exhaust for the EV. Sounds aren't anywhere near as authentic, obviously, or appealing as the real ones that we have in this one right here. You do have standard all-wheel drive and launch control modes on both cars, help them hook up from the line. You can toggle the same all-wheel drive system to send power to the rear wheels only, and you also have a line lock feature for instant smoky burnouts. But the ability to assume a rear-wheel drive configuration isn't only about delivering more fun. You can also disconnect on the highway to improve the MPGs, of course. Pretty standard stuff to see there from modern four-wheel drive systems. The combustion Charger stays close to the design template laid down by this EV brother, and Dodge brags it has the widest hips of any passenger car. Now look at the hips here. It doesn't really look like it has extremely wide hips, but I do like this design overall. I just think the hood sits a little too tall. I wanted to have it sit a little lower. I think I made a redesign of this way back a year ago or so when I did that. But imagine this with some proper wheels on it, and also we need to just lower it just a little bit, just lower it half an inch or maybe an inch or so. And this is a very, very cool looking car. It definitely has the original 68 Charger DNA still intact in this design. Both cars get the same DRL light signature, but where the Daytona airflow allows airflow to flow in the front end under the above the grille, this has a more traditional looking grille, hood, because you need to of course fit the inline six underneath there, so we can't have that hood scoop in the front end. We still have a hood scoop though, but it is a lot smaller than the one we have on the EV version. I'm not sure if you can see it right here. I do believe this is a functional, it's not a hood scoop, it's more of an air extractor or heat extractor up top on the hood. Looking very cool. I mean, this is a cool looking design. I can't wait to see what people do with this. Customize it, lower it, maybe not slam it to the ground, but put some very cool wheels on it. It's going to look like a beast. So the internal combustion engine has a single round tailpipe on each side. Perfect, just round, simple tailpipes, symmetrical on each side, exactly what I wanted to see. And then we have this interior here looking very, very cozy, and thankfully we still have some physical buttons down here with this screen that I don't really think intrudes too much on the interior design overall. It still looks better than the Mustang screens, for sure, in my opinion, the interior overall for this Dodge. Now you do have 20-inch diamond cut wheels, and a 10.25-inch gauge cluster right here behind the steering wheel. Active Sports exhaust and adaptive cruise as standard, but upgraded to the Scat Pack Plus, and you grow the display to 16 inches. I don't really mind to not have the big 16-inch screen here. I would be totally fine. This is probably the 16-inch right here. I would be fine with a smaller screen than that. So you do have a blacktop package, which adds black wheels and badging. I would probably go with that. The reason being, I don't like black wheels. I do think we have the black wheels right here. You can see the black badging here as well. I would get this package simply because the badges are black, but the wheels, I would switch them out anyways, so I wouldn't really care if it came with black wheels from factory. So the four-door Scat Pack doesn't arrive in dealership until the first half of 2026. However, orders for this beauty right here, the two-door, opens August 13. So in 4 or 5 days, you can expect to see them on the streets in the next few months, which is going to be very exciting to see. I think I've seen maybe 2 Daytona EVs, Chargers on the roads, and that is pretty much it. Now, I want to talk to you about something. I have had this thought. Yeah, I have these YouTube channels right here. We have the comments section, but I'm honestly thinking about creating a school community for us, where we can just hang out, talk about car design. You can show your redesigns of what you want to change in current car designs. I will go live there and talk about current car design trends, what I think about it, and we can engage at a more personal level. Feedback on your sketches as well if you want that in the community. So I want to have one sort of section in the community where we have car design analysis, car design trends, news, and so on, and another section where we talk about industrial design sketching, where I help you out. And hopefully, as we build the community, more designers are going to join the community, and then you can get feedback from other designers as well. If that is something that you would be interested in seeing, I would make it extremely affordable. If there is no interest for it, I'm obviously not going to put in the effort of building it. But if that is something that you would be interested in, just hang out on a more personal level, let me know in the comments below, and I will see what I can do and maybe start building this. And also let me know 1 or 2 features that you would like to see in a community like this. The idea is to just bring in people that have the same interest as me, because I think there is a lot of people watching my videos. We all share the same interest when it comes to car design, and also maybe we have our own opinions about where car design is going. So I want to create a discussion, a forum, so to speak, where we can discuss these things. And if that's something you would be interested in joining in the future, let me know in the comments below. If I see a lot of positive responses to that, I'm going to start building it. And as I said, I'm going to make it extremely affordable, so pretty much anyone can join that wants to get in and also improve your design sketching skill. Now there is a form down below in the comment section. I want you to click on that. It's got 4 questions that I want to hear your opinion on, and you can also give me feedback on what you would like to see inside of this potential community that we're going to build. So with that said, let's jump into Photoshop here and have a look at this beauty right here. The overall design looks great. It looks like almost a transition from, do you remember the first generation of the new iteration of the Camaro? Well, that came out in, I do believe, 2010, and that was by far the best looking Camaro. And then they started going to this more sports car like design with a lot more fluid curvatures over the entire body, and it became less muscle car and more sports car. I feel that is what happened here as well to this Charger compared to the old Charger, which is still one of my favorite designs, I think, in the last 50 years. Even today, when I see a wide body Challenger or a Charger on the streets, I still look at it twice, and when I'm behind it, it looks like the best modernization of a muscle car I've ever seen, and that is still a great looking design. This one, you can see we got a lot more fluid lines here. Let's make the lines green so you can actually see what I'm sketching here. Well, you can see this line here, curvature going down to another curvature, and then we have this angle in the front end. It dips downwards or inwards towards the, you can see it more in the side view here. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I wanted to see it more poke out a little bit more, or maybe have a more substantial lip spoiler in the lower section to create a nice base for it. But the changes here to the EV are pretty substantial when you think about it in the front end. They had to redesign the entire front end because the EV has this scoop where air flows out here and then flows up here on the hood, as we were seeing, so in the concept, in the initial concept as well. But in order to fit the inline 6 underneath here, they had to cover that up, and instead now we have the air extractor up here on the hood, and it's also more of a conventional looking hood, which honestly, the wing that we have in the EV looks pretty cool, but I honestly prefer the front end of this. We also have this added intake right here. So this is how you can tell if this is an EV or not. Just look at the front end, and if you see this black intake above the main grille in the lower section right here, you know that you're looking at the internal combustion engine version. In addition to that, we have these graphics right here on the side as well. Now look at the side view. This is where you can see why, maybe you can see it, I don't know, but this is the reason why I would like to lower this a little bit. We have too much of a wheel gap right there. I want to just bring it down a little bit closer to the ground and also switch out the wheels and tires. These wheels and tires, they don't look bad, but they are black, and I want to switch that out and also have them be maybe 1 inch bigger. I think if you just do those changes to this design, it's going to transform the entire car if you just plant it properly onto the ground. You can see this angle right here. I do like this angle because this brings back this almost fuselage design that we used to have of the 60s and also early 70s. So it looks proper for a muscle car. but I still want to have some sort of lip spoiler that sticks out and create a nice base for the front end right there. The overall proportions here, you can see that it has a lot more fluid designs than what we used to see in the previous generation of the Charger right here, and the Challenger, obviously. And then we have this greenhouse going back pretty far here with a very thick C-pillar in this case, but it still looks muscle car to me, with this three-box design that is a little bit more fluid than what maybe we're used to seeing from previous generations of this vehicle. It still looks very, very nice because there's not a lot of line flow going on, or over-styling. You would not call this vehicle over-styled. Definitely has a very simple-looking design. The greenhouse looks great as well, and then inside here you have this extremely cozy-looking interior where I feel like when I'm going to step into this vehicle, it's going to feel like everything is building up around me. I sit low in the vehicle, exactly like I want in a car like this. Now, this is a huge change as well. Obviously, if we look back here, we see the dual exhaust pipes sticking out right here. And this is the exact design I wanted to see for these exhaust pipes. This being a muscle car, it's all about simplicity in everything, in the mechanicals, in the interior design, and also in the exterior design. And this is the simplest way you can, for me, to symbolize a performance vehicle, is just have two round exhaust pipes, one on each side like this, symmetrical, right in the middle, looking beautiful. And then we have this blacked out bumper as well, which I think is great that they made it blacked out, because this removes some volume in the rear end that we don't want to have, and it makes it feel a little bit more athletic. Then we have the key graphics being typical rectangular design that we have since going back to the late 60s of muscle car, coming back right here in this new version, looking great. And we have a lot of horizontal lines all over this vehicle, stretching out visually the width of this vehicle, looking great. On top of that, we have a small little spoiler up top in black, and looks to be some sort of maybe antenna up there. I'm not really sure what that is, but this is my favorite view for this vehicle. Usually it is going to be the 3/4 rear view. If you plant the car properly, it's basically every single time going to be the 3/4 rear view. There's going to be my personal favorite view of essentially any vehicle, and that goes for this as well. Imagine this, sitting planted on the ground with some wheels, maybe add some spacers here to push out the wheels a little bit more. But you can see the width of the front tire here is very, very fat, looking great. And we need to have that because of the all-wheel drive system to put the power down properly on the ground. Looking fantastic to me. Now, last but not least, this interior right here. And this is a great looking interior. I feel like just looking at it, it feels like the build quality is on point. Chevy, Dodge, Ford, American companies back in the mid-2000s, they had some of the worst interiors with the fitment. The section lines between panels were off. Maybe in some cases they were almost a or a centimeter wide, and it was hard plastic everywhere. So American companies recently, the last decade or so, really stepped up their interior feel. I mean, just compare the old Silverados, for example, just the previous generation. Up until that point, it looked horrible, but then they switched it up and made something very, very high quality feel for the interiors. And that happened here as well. And thankfully, we have this array of buttons right here looking beautiful. Vents in the lower section. Steering wheel looks great as well. We don't have a cover, unfortunately, for the gauge cluster over there, but it's fine. As I said in the beginning, this looks way better than the screen setups that we have in the Ford Mustang, for example. We also have a horizontally laid out infotainment screen, which is totally fine because it doesn't stick up too much. And last but not least, we have a lot of ambient lighting going on with some very cool, almost organic looking texture. Like this looks like muscle fibers in the door panel, and that is what you want to see, of course, in a muscle car like this.